Hello, YouTube. Yeah, this is the next episode of SHIZCAST live. Today featuring, introduce yourself, buddy.
My name is TheBasedBastard, or my name Ashton Murray. Um, Jeez, you
Ashton
never
Murray,
really
okay.
know. Yeah, you never really know yourself until somebody asks you to tell them about yourself, and you find out you're pretty boring. Um, I started streaming in early September. I kind of stopped for a little bit. Had to do some, some life stuff. Working in my small business. I was taking care of my family. There was a lot of things that I was doing. So I ended up starting back up again, and I'm just glad that I've got a community that genuinely cares, and for it's like I never left the support. So, but it's a pleasure to get to meet you. I've heard a lot about you.
My reputation precedes me, man.
But I appreciate you for having me on.
Oh, it's a pleasure. The pleasure's all mine. I was told several times to have you on. So, I think it's going to be fun.
I think so. I think it's going to be great.
So, first things first. Do the people around you, are you Texans fan, Cowboys fan?
So I live in San Antonio. My family, we were Spurs fans for a while.
Did you say, wait, you were what fans? It cut out.
San Antonio Spurs fans.
Oh, okay.
For a long time. But my family kind of got away from the sport when they started bringing the whole BLM activism and all that other, junk to sports.
I don't like the fact that they have end racism on the back of their helmets and stuff. I think they should try to keep the politics out of sports as well.
Yeah, I really do. That's kind of why we kind of got away from that. I do respect the Dallas Cowboys, though. I am a Dallas Cowboys fan. I was glad that they didn't really politicize anything, but the Spurs really did, and that kind of
well,
that was enough for me.
Packers fans and Cowboys fans have a connection recently, and that's because your coach is our old coach for 10 years that we won our Super Bowl with.
Okay, yeah, see, I didn't know that. I haven't been keeping up like I should, because I know the Cowboys are doing pretty decently this year. And I'm actually glad we fired Gary, what's his name?
Jason Garrett, yeah.
Jason Garrett, yeah, he was. I mean, come on, he didn't win anything with us. But yeah, I mean, really, it's not that I'm not into sports. It's just they politicized it so much that I kind of just got away from it for a long time. So
I understand that. Yeah, I understand
that.
Yeah,
I'm a huge Tim Duncan fan and a huge Manu Ginobili and a huge Tony Parker fan.
So are these basketball players?
Yeah, they were San Antonio. They were the big three that won. I think they won. I think it was 4 championships together.
Wow.
So the San Antonio Spurs were the professional team of the decade from 99 to 09.
99 to 09 professional team of the decade. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, very cool.
Yeah.
All right, so let's dive right into one of the big things that you're kind of doing with your life right now, which I heard you're running for Senate in Texas State Senate. Is that right?
That is correct, yes. I am running for Texas State Senator in District 26.
Texas State Senator in District 26, all right. And so, who are you running against, and what's your platform? Talk about that a little bit, please, if you don't mind.
Sure. So, I am running against Jose Menendez. He's done some good things, okay? Everybody, and that's the thing, everybody on the Democrat and the Republican side has some good things, right? But I think that's what Americans are tired of. We're tired of the some good things. You should be bringing good things all the time. You should be doing great things for this country and for your state and your district all the time. He was one of the feckless Democrats that got on the private jet and left to hide behind the Biden administration and the political elitist. So, we're done with that. We're done with that. And it was all over the voting rights bill and Yeah, they got on that private jet. They were maskless. They ended up getting COVID because of it. They stayed at some 4-star hotel in DC, and some of them were asking for care packages like they were deployed in Afghanistan and in a war zone, like they couldn't go and to the store and get their own shit, right? So that's who I'm running against. Now, some of the issues that I'm running on is I want to continue. I am prior service myself. I was with the Texas Army National Guard for 6 years. I was an infantryman. So my big thing is helping veterans. We need to do way more for our veterans than we are currently doing. And Texas is one of the best places to be a veteran, but I think we could do a lot more. Like right now, 100% disabled veterans don't pay property taxes in the state of Texas. I think that we could do better than that. I think we could cut it down to 50% disabled veterans don't have to pay property taxes. I believe that property taxes can be a good thing for business owners and people who have mortgages. But in my opinion, if you own your own home, I don't care if you're 21 years old and you won the lottery and you purchased your own home, you shouldn't have to pay property taxes. Because if you're paying property taxes, you don't own your own home. I think that's a communist thing. I think we need to get rid of that. Thomas Jefferson wrote, "You have the inalienable right of life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness." But John Locke said, "You have the right to life, liberty, and the right to property." And we're taking that away from our Texan constituents and Texan people by having them pay property taxes on things that that they already own. I think people who are 65 years old, mortgage or not, should not have to pay property taxes. They've paid their whole life into taxes. Another big thing is education. I believe that a parent is the parent and has the ultimate say in their child's education. The state of Texas does not co-parent your child with you. Healthcare. I believe in government getting out of healthcare. I believe that we need to allow for innovation. We need to allow for competition. That's how things get cheaper. When the microwave was first invented, it was $3,000, and that was the equivalent of $40,000 today. Now you can go to Walmart or wherever and buy yourself a $50, $30 microwave. I believe that innovation and competition lowers prices drastically. There's a lot of things that we could go over. Like I believe in voter reform. I believe that we should completely stop mail-in voting. Germany did it, and it's worked really well for them. I think we do obviously need to keep absentee ballots for those deployed overseas. But again, I think that there's a lot that we could work on. If there's any specific questions, I'm glad to answer them.
You've have a lot of good platforms. I think abolishing property taxes for those who own your home, and you own your land, I pretty much agree with that, because a lot of people get houses inherited to them and stuff, like by their family, and then they can't pay these property taxes, and then all of a sudden they have to sell this house that's been in the family for who knows how long. Right. I don't have like a generation's old house or something, but I'm saying some people do. Same with family farms and stuff like this.
I agree.
Like back in the day, the farm went from the firstborn son is like the father to the firstborn son, and then when that guy's son, it would go to him, and it was through the family like that for decades and generations. And then these property taxes came and basically spanked that away for a lot of people who couldn't pay these like millions for these giant farms property taxes.
Yeah, I think it's criminal, if you want to know the truth. It really is criminal.
So, where did you start to form your beliefs? So what point in your life did you start to realize these people in government here, even you're in a good state of Texas, but these people in for example, California, when did you realize this is wrong and we gotta change things? When did that passion start for you?
Believe it or not, I was a little bit on the younger side. I was always raised to be a conservative, but it wasn't really I was raised to be a conservative. I was raised to be a Republican.
Okay.
And it was like with my brother-in-law Ollie, he was the one that questioned everything all the time. So we would talk, and I would just start to, question things and start to ask questions as well. And I remember my mother. He showed me Alex Jones. She said, "Get that liberal shit out of your head." And now she's
She called
the
Alex Jones a liberal?
Well, this was back in the day.
Oh, like in the 80s.
No. This was back in the early 2000s. Where
Oh,
Alex
okay.
Jones was like the only one to question 9/11 and whatnot. And so I just remember forming that, and now I remember. Now I know that my mom, she's on the same picture in the same side that I'm on. But I do remember at a young age, thinking all the time, like I love my state, I love my country. My grandfather was a World War II veteran, my mom's dad, and he just taught us to love this country, and that this country was something that couldn't be bought. This country was something that meant the world to them. My granddad was born before the Great Depression. He was born in 1924. And they're called the greatest generation for a reason. And I think it's two reasons. One reason is that the country was going through a Great Depression and could offer them no assistance and no help. But when their country needed them, they didn't hesitate. My granddad was 17 years old when he joined the U.S. Army. And they told him if he joined that they would just give him his high school diploma because he was only a junior at the time. And the second reason that I think that they're the greatest generation is because my granddad's generation single-handedly saved the world from a racist, tyrannical regime. And they were willing to do anything to stop it.
You said a racist, tyrannical regime?
Yes.
And who are you referring to there?
I am referring to the Nazis. I am referring to the fascist Italians at the time. At the very beginning of the war, I know that they switched sides, but I'm also talking about the Japanese Empire too. And they really did save the world. Their generation really did save the world.
When you put it into perspective like that, yeah, I mean, imagine if some other horrible thing happened and like we didn't win, how different the world would be today.
We'd probably be speaking German.
Yeah, it would be drastically different.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm partially German. What's your heritage? I'm partially German and partially Polish. And partially Croatian somehow.
Hey, it's with the travel that's been going on through the past decades, people have been able to travel vast distances quickly. So my mother did the I think it was the 23andMe or maybe
that's what I did.
Ancestry.
I did the 23andMe.
She came out, and I shit you not, she came out to 99.9% Scots-Irish.
What?
Yeah, we were all pretty shocked, but it was 99.9% Scots-Irish. My father is a little different, but he is extremely white as well. But I did the Ancestry, and I mean, let's be honest, Ancestry.com, the tree, it can be accurate, but it may not be accurate. But apparently, my dad does know that we did have, like, my 9th great grandmother was Cherokee Native American, and she was adopted by a white family because she was just a girl when some people murdered her entire little village that she was a part of. But she was actually my grandmother, my biological grandmother. So I've got, like, I'm not a little born over here claiming to be Native American. I mean, because that's just that's background noise on the DNA, But I do know that we've got some German. My dad, he's got a lot of German. He's got a lot of English as well. So English, German, and my mom obviously Scots-Irish.
Wow, that is pretty good, pretty based. You bastard! Ha ha ha! He said it.
I am a bastard.
All right.
My parents never got married.
Your parents never got married? Oh, you literal bastard.
Literal bastard.
I get you. Are your parents still cool though? They talk or anything?
I mean, they like exchange comments on Facebook occasionally. I mean, I wouldn't say they talk. My dad, he's remarried. My mother, she's remarried, and they've got their own lives and whatnot. I mean, they're definitely cordial. They're definitely not like hate each other in the slightest.
Interesting.
So, which is always good.
How old are you?
I am 27 years old.
You're about 5 years younger than me, and you're running for state senator. You see this?
Anybody can do it. Anybody can do it. I was telling a lot of people. You can ask Maggie Princess. I was telling her. I was telling everybody, get out there and vote for the America First political outsider. Go out there and vote for somebody who cares about this country. And if you don't have anybody running, you go out and run. I'm actually already the Republican nominee because no other Republican decided to step up and run. So I've already got the nomination. So right now I'm just breezing on through onto the November 8th election. I mean, we're doing a lot right now, but I'm doing a very little because it is hard because I don't know what I'm doing. I've definitely got some great people in my corner giving me, hey, you should go and do this, you should go and do this and do this. But it's new. It's not something that I'm used to. It's not something that I know exactly what I'm doing because I don't. So right now I'm just what I'm trying to do is just collect donations, endorsements, because unfortunately I'm poor. I own my own small little business. I pay the bills, but I'm not wealthy. I'm not an elitist. The guy I'm running against, he made like $500,000 in donations. But the thing is he's never had a Republican person run against him. He's never had a true conservative run against him. So that's that was something that's new even for him.
What is that guy's political affiliation and name once again?
His name is Jose Menendez, and he's a Democrat.
Okay, and how long has this guy been in this specific office for?
Since 2015.
And are they just allowed to run forever for this office?
Yes, they are.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so he's never had a conservative run against him in Texas, and he's a Democrat state senator. Wow, it's surprising that he keeps winning it as a Democrat. I mean, I know that they're trying to turn, like, a lot of people are going there from California, like, and trying to vote Democrat. But,
right. It's not really working in their favor.
It's not. But, good to hear.
But, the thing is like, I am in a very deep blue area of Texas. I am in District 26 of San Antonio. I cover the whole of a major city. The Alamo is actually in my district. So it's a very blue area, but it's an area where I think I think we can win. I wouldn't be running if I didn't think that we could.
Is San Antonio way down south?
San Antonio is. I am about an hour and a half from the Mexico border.
Okay, yeah, I'm looking at this. Okay, I see it. Yeah, I'm just gonna show this map on the screen here for a second. So San Antonio's way down here. So south of Austin, way west of Houston. Not way west, but west.
Yes.
And
west of Houston, south of Austin, and very much east. And Texas is a very big state, though. El Paso is actually closer to Los Angeles, California, than it is to Dallas, Texas.
Oh, really? Yeah,
yes.
This is a gigantic state for sure.
Yes, very big landmass.
Okay, just wanted to get that clear.
So I'm in a very blue part of Texas, but the thing is like I don't think it's as blue as everybody wants it. Everybody thinks that it is, because we have a big Hispanic culture here in San Antonio. My wife's Hispanic, her family's from Mexico, but they have those conservative family values. But they've been voting Democrat for so long that it's just something that they do. It's a tradition to vote Democrat.
There's a lot of Latin conservatives now. If you even just look at the Proud Boys and like groups like that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And the Wall Street Journal just came out with an article that said 50% of Hispanic males are leaning Republican. 50%, because they're tired of the They're tired of the pollution. Okay, they're tired of the
You cut
They're
out.
tired of
You
the
said
life.
one, they're tired of the blank.
Sorry about that. They are tired of the pander from the
Okay.
Democratic Party.
Gotcha.
They really are. The Hispanic population here in San Antonio, um, it's diverse. Okay, you don't just have people from Mexico. You have people from Guatemala. You have people from all over. And they have their own culture. But one thing that they have in common is that they are very family conservative. They're big on family values.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of them are very religious people. A lot of them are. We have a very big Catholic population here in San Antonio.
Isn't it true that like Latin people tend to not ever get divorced? Basically, no matter whatever happens. That's what
Yeah,
one of my
yeah,
old coworkers said. He's Mexican.
yeah. They, like my wife's grandparents. They were married for long time. They were married for a very long time. And so and God rest their souls, they passed away from her father's side, both of them. But on her mother's side, they've been married for a very long time as well. And they both came from Mexico, and came here legally, came here the right way. They were Trump supporters, they're Republicans because they understand that the Democrats are no longer the Democratic Party is no longer the party of John F. Kennedy. That's dead and gone. Okay, and a lot of people are starting to wake up and realize that the Democratic Party isn't what it used to be. So that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to get that information out there and let them know, like, hey, I know you've been voting for Democrat for so long, but that Democratic Party's gone. And right now we're bringing the Republican Party, revitalizing it, bringing it back to represent everyone. We know that the mainstream media has not been a conservative's friend. They are a copy and paste type of agenda. They all copy each other, and then they sit there and they spout lies about Republicans and conservatives, that they're racist, that they hate people, and that you know and we've got to conquer that. Republicans have been on the defense for so long. It's time for us to get on the offense.
I am gonna ask you a question about a current event. Have you seen these videos about there? You obviously know you brought up that about people coming into the country legally. Have you seen
Right.
these videos where there's like just 1,000 people or 500 people coming across the border, and then they take dinghies, inflatable dinghies with motors, and these guys, what are they called, coyotes? They
Yep.
bring them across the border with their little dinghies, and then the U.S. like marshals help them over all into the country, and then
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? What
Yeah.
what do you feel about that? Did you see these videos, and what's your take on that?
So I have seen the videos. I've seen a few videos where we've got some people who are saying this isn't happening. It's just it's inflated, and right behind them you see people crossing the Rio Grande River, coming into our country.
Wearing brand new
so
Nike sneakers, by the way.
yeah, I mean to me it's almost like who's inviting you? Who's telling you that you can come here?
It's a
And,
big
and,
racket.
and again,
They make a ton of
right.
money doing this.
Right, and it's like, look, we have no problem here in the great state of Texas for legal immigration. Okay, immigration built this country. Okay, but my ancestors, when they came over here, one of my earliest ancestors coming over here, I think they came over in 1870. His name was William Murray, and he came from Scotland, and he came here legally. So it's not like we hate immigrants. I hate that the left likes to push that we hate immigrants. We absolutely don't. My wife's family, she's a second generation American. So it's the issue is we're having people come over here. We have no idea who they are. We have no history of who they are. And we've absolutely have got to end that. But I think what we need to do is we need to vet some of these people, because right now we do have the law that says that if they claim asylum, they can come here. Well, that's great. I think that somebody should be able to claim asylum and come here. But we need to vet who they are. We need to know exactly who you are. We need to know what you ate last. We need to know everything about you before we just say, come in and be with our fellow Americans. Because we don't know. Are you a major criminal? Are you a drug smuggler? Are you a human trafficker? Are you a pedophile? We have no idea. So I think those are things that we absolutely need to tackle. And as for border security, you know, I was not the biggest fan of the wall. But you know what? I think the wall is necessary. And, you know, people ask all the time, do you really think the wall is going to work? I don't think the wall by itself will work, but it's a step in the right direction. And right now I actually have one of my brothers and one of my sisters who's down with the Texas Army National Guard on a border mission. So I do think that we need the National Guard presence there. And my thing is that the federal government needs to stay out of a lot of states' business. But in the preamble of the Constitution, the federal government's job is border security. And when the federal government doesn't step up, the state of Texas absolutely has the right to step up and take care of its borders. Because not only is it taking care of the borders of Texas, but it's taking care of the borders of the United States.
I agree with this. There's a point that I was going to bring up along the lines of this. Do you remember those private citizens that were patrolling borders, and then I believe some of them were told to stop doing it or they were going to get in trouble, it was illegal or something like this, or maybe they even did get arrested. Did you hear about that?
I did hear about that, but I don't know what came of it.
Okay, me neither.
But I do believe that private citizens have the right to protect their borders. I mean, there are a lot of individuals who own land where these people are crossing. In the state of Texas, we actually have the highest rate of property ownership in the country. So when you see these people crossing over the Rio Grande, some of the times that land is people's private property.
Wow.
And I think that they absolutely have the right to defend it and absolutely have the right to determine who the hell can and can't be on there.
Do you think that when the marshals round them up and help them cross over the river, that they then give them some sort of card that they can track them on? Like I don't know, is it the green card maybe or something that they can like figure out what they're doing in our country? Or do you think they really just are set loose with you're an illegal citizen now?
Yeah, I mean, I honestly couldn't tell you. I know that they do rescue them because they don't want them to die, because the Rio Grande is a very dangerous river. It's a big river. It's called the Rio Grande. It means the large river in Spanish. And there have been people who died crossing it. And I mean, we don't want children dying. I don't care if they're illegal immigrants.
Yeah.
Or whatever. We don't want them to drown and die. I mean, that's absolutely horrible. That doesn't mean that we don't, eventually send them back. But I'm not sure what's going on. And I think that that's one of the big things that people want to know. What is actually going on? Because on one side of the aisle, we're being told, oh, yeah, you're sending them back. And then on the side of the aisle, you're hearing, no, they're loading them up on buses and sending them to, Fort Bliss and El Paso or Fort Hood and Killeen. So it's like we're hearing a bunch of things. But I think we deserve to know the truth on where these people are going.
France made the Statue of Liberty and brought it to New York, and the Statue of Liberty stands for the fact that people from anywhere can come to America and it's no problem. But you just like in Ellis Island, you just have to do it legally.
Right. And my great-great-grandfather from Scotland, like I said, William Murray, in 1871, he came through Ellis Island. And it's the symbol of freedom. Everybody, I remember my grandfather telling me one time, he said, look at that flag. And he was pointing to the American flag. He said, every person on planet Earth knows that flag. And he's right. Every person on planet Earth knows the American flag and what it stands for.
And, it's a beautiful thing, that flag.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the most beautiful thing to me. And people are willing to die to be a part of that flag. People have always been willing to die to be a part of that flag. And we have the left, telling us that, oh, we're the most racist, we're the most horrible country the globe has ever seen. But we want open borders and we want everybody to be a part of it. Well, what is it? Is it a racist country or is it one of the greatest countries to ever exist? And I think they know the answer. They're just crybabies. They're losers. Let's be honest. They know it's the greatest country on planet Earth. They know that it's lifted people out of poverty than any other country. They know that our way of life is one of the best ways of life. That's why they're telling people to come here, because it is one of the best ways of life. And people come here know that. That's why they come. Otherwise, they wouldn't come. And you don't see a lot of people leaving this country, but you see a massive influx of people coming to this country.
This is a great point. We really are lucky to have been born in America and not any other country in the world, because we really do live in the greatest and best country on planet Earth, just like you said. And these weirdos like Antifa should figure out why do you think that they don't want to just leave? Because either they hate our country so much because we're so in this like systemic racism bullshit that they believe in. They just are so stupid, some of these people. Why do you think they don't just leave? Because I believe what you said is true. Bunch of crybabies don't want to leave. They realize that they have it really good right here. I mean, imagine if one of those chicks on Antifa was born in Saudi Arabia and couldn't drive, or something like that.
Right. I think one of the reasons is because they're too poor to leave, because they live in their mother's basement. They don't have jobs, so they couldn't leave even if they wanted to. I think that's one reason. But another reason is because they know, without a doubt, that this is the best country, because this is the only country that will tolerate their bullshit. Because you're right. You go to Saudi Arabia and you try to pander that shit, they'll kill you. You try to go, I mean, there are a lot of other Middle Eastern countries that
they will behead you in public for that shit.
Yeah, not an issue. They don't give a shit. They will. And you know that they won't go to Russia, because in Russia they just get their ass stomped by the actual police. They won't go to China because they would never be heard of again. So they know this. They know this. And what's funny is they always say, well, that's not real communism. That's not real socialism. And one of the things that I tell them too when they say, well, capitalism is horrible. Look at America. I just tell them, joking, like, well, this isn't real capitalism. And it really rustles their fucking feathers. But it's true. We know that communism is absolute garbage. Okay, we know it. Okay, you don't got to look very far. Look at Cuba. Okay, I actually know a few people who are from Cuba. They're great individuals. But you start pandering socialism and communism to Cubans, that's where Donald Trump gained a lot of the Hispanic vote, especially in Florida, because the left is pandering socialism and communism, and they will not touch anything that has any socialism or any communism near it. But if you wonder why in the hell are people allowed to cross the southern border of Texas, no issue. When the president and vice president, they don't care. They'll give them amnesty. They don't give a shit. But as soon as people start trying to come from Cuba to the United States, they'll turn them away. Why? Because they're going to vote the wrong way.
And you're so right about that. I remember Jorge Masvidal. He's a huge MMA fighter. And he gave a speech about, my father came here on a boat from Cuba to escape communism. And now I see this communism bullshit in the free country, the greatest country on the earth, America. That shit has to end today, because I came from communism. Let me tell you, communism ain't no good.
Yeah.
It's oppressive to everybody, except for the communist people in charge. Elite.
Yes. Yeah, except for the elites. And that's the thing. A lot of people like to say capitalism is rich get richer and the poor get poorer. I don't see it that way. Okay, I really don't, because let's go back 50 years ago, okay? Is our life today, even somebody who, works at McDonald's and doesn't make very much, their life is better today than it was 50 years ago, okay? Like, I bought this phone. This phone right here is a decent phone, okay? It's not the greatest phone. I bought it for $50.
Damn good deal.
50 years ago, 50 years ago, you wouldn't have been able to do that. they didn't have cell phones.
Well, 50 years ago, the computing power of that would have been stored in about 2 gigantic warehouses with a couple huge gigantic towers, like from the floor to the ceiling.
Right. But how were we able to manage that? We were able to manage that through competition, the free capitalist, the free market, and capitalism. That's how we were able to drive down prices and make life better for everybody else.
Don't forget outsourcing to cheap Chinese and Taiwanese tiny hands labor.
Yeah, I mean that's another thing, and that's one of the things that we absolutely have got to do is bring back jobs. And I cannot stand the Biden administration when they say we brought back more jobs than anybody. Well, yeah, but your party also shut down the entire country and got so many people fired. You don't get to fire everybody, then rehire them and say I've got the best job growth ever. That's just stupidity. There's no way around it. That is why we say let's go Brandon, okay? Because of shit like that. You fire the entire country, then you rehire them, and you say, oh, look, we made more jobs than anybody. No, you didn't. You didn't do a damn thing to bring any jobs back other than, oh, we're going to reopen everything. Because you shut it down, then you pointed the finger at Donald Trump, said that he was the one that shut everything down and ruined everything. It's just this whole psychological game that a lot of people are starting to catch up on. I mean, let's be honest. We have the Afghan debacle, and what did they do? Oh, well, this is Donald Trump's fault. No. This is completely your fault. You did everything that Joe Biden did. Even a private in the United States Army would have did the opposite.
Obama started the most wars of any president in American history.
Yes, he did. And you know who? Donald Trump was, I think, the first president in about 100 years that didn't start a new war.
Yeah, I believe that's correct. They went from starting a shit ton of wars under Obama to starting 0 wars.
Right, and then obviously we know that he had the Middle Eastern peace deals with Israel, and I think there were 4 other countries, and I can't remember them right now. But they were making normalized trade with Israel. I mean, for fuck's sake, man. My brother-in-law Ollie, he is from his family's from Palestine. He is a Palestinian. It was the first president, especially in his lifetime and his parents' lifetime, that actually not only made their life better here in America, but made their life better in the Middle East for their family over there.
Oh, okay, I see. But so, what's your take on sending money that you make in America back home to your families in other countries, be it Mexico, the country, Palestine, whatever it may be?
Honestly, I don't really have an issue with it because I know, and we all should know, that the American dollar, even though the euro is worth more than the American dollar is the gold standard. I can take my American money anywhere, and people will accept it. And I think that I think that's a selfless act. I think that people who I had some friends when I was working at McDonald's when I was a teenager. He was an older gentleman. His name was Pascal. And he would send a portion of his money to his wife and to his kid. And he was waiting for himself to become a citizen so that he could bring his family over. But it does. It lifts them out of poverty because our money is just way more than their money is. So I don't really have a problem with it. Now, I do when, it's questionable. When you're sending like $10,000, or a lot of chunks of change, and you're sending that back, that's a little questionable. What are you doing? Why are you sending those lump sums? But for somebody who works, just a bare minimum wage job, I don't really have a problem with it.
I wanted to get back into the Chinese thing for a second. Okay. So to bring back jobs, I believe the only way we could ever bring back these jobs, especially these chip making jobs, and there's global chip shortages, and they're all made in Taiwan and China, right. And these other things that are only basically made there because they're so cheap. Well, we have the UN, and basically the UN makes it so that everybody has to not use child slave labor, and basically these weird dorms that have the nets in the middle because so many people try to jump out their windows and kill themselves. So right. Because their life is so fucking bad. There's no other country can do that. And they're the only ones to able to make anything so fucking cheap, and that's why everyone, even in America, everything is made in China that we have. I believe that until we end the Chinese labor laws and we make them humanitarian, then we'll never be able to get any of these jobs back. And it's just, we're gonna just, I don't know if you've ever seen the global debt or the debt per person, but you're in debt like $800,000 or some shit right now, or $300,000 maybe. It's either 3 or an 8. It's can't get it stuck in my head right now, but
Right.
we're never getting out of this because of their illegal fucking labor that they have.
You know, when people say that we're in debt, no, I'm not in debt. You're in debt. You know, the U.S. government's in debt. You know, they did this.
What I mean is per citizen debt.
You didn't do this. You know, they did. The globalist elitists did this. And
they just voted to raise the deficit.
Yeah, and I think that I think that, you know, that's one of the reasons why we got to get some political outsiders like myself in, because you couldn't give me America's debt in cash to sell out. But going back to the Chinese and outsourcing America, I think that that's just an excuse, because Texas is very, very big on business. As you saw recently, Gordon Ramsay's moved his headquarters here. Elon Musk is moving his. You got so many people moving their headquarters here because we're business friendly. And you know, and I hate when when people say, well, you know, the government created jobs. No, the government doesn't create jobs. Okay, the government creates an environment for jobs to be created. Okay, we just got I think here in not San Antonio, but Texas, right outside of Boston, I do believe, we're having a Samsung factory built. It's like they did like a $17 billion deal. Because we are happy to have businesses come here and to provide jobs for people, and good paying jobs too, not just, you know, minimum wage labor. And I think that that's what we need to do. We need to start bringing people in. Like, hey, you know what? You build chips for phones. You build lithium batteries. Come here. We'll give you tax breaks. We'll make it as easy as possible for you to get your business up and running again. And I think that that's something that we need to focus on. That was another thing, one of my platforms, is we need to continue doing what we're doing. We need to continue bringing business to the state of Texas. One of the things, two things on my platform, some Republicans won't agree with, but I don't really care. I don't need your approval on everything that I want to get done. I want to bring casinos to the state of Texas because we are not legal to have casinos. There is one.
We love casinos in Wisconsin.
Which is on a Native American reservation, which is nice, it's great, but we need to actually bring them to the state of Texas. And I think we need to legalize marijuana. We need to bring dispensaries here. And someone told me the other day,
that's right.
It causes crime. Blah, blah. No, it doesn't cause crime. What causes crime is the defunding of your police. Okay, that's what causes crime. Because you're going to have crime regardless. But if you defund your police, you're really going to have crime. So my biggest thing is that if we legalize these entities in the state of Texas, we're going to bring in a lot of tax dollars. Okay, and so what I don't believe in is, you know, just handing out money to the citizens nonstop. Okay, one, it's not good for the economy, and two, what it does is it creates a dependent society. Now, look, I have used food stamps. I have used, you know, government things before as well. Okay, so I'm not dogging on anybody who has, because I know that sometimes life gets tough. But if we could put more money, if we could stop taking money from the Texan people, we could keep more money in their pockets to do the things that they need to do. And if we brought in big organizations like casinos and taxed them at our already 8.25% tax plus 11% sin tax, I mean, Kickapoo Lucky Eagle Casino in Texas, which is on the Native American reservation down south of Eagle Pass, brings in $30 million a week. If we could bring in a major casino that brought in over $1 million a week, I mean, we'd bring billions in taxes alone from that one casino.
In Wisconsin, every other city is named an Indian name. For example, Milwaukee. Waukesha, Kenosha, all this stuff. It's all Indian names, and we have so many Indian reservations that have gigantic Indian casinos. Potawatomi, Oneida, just continue so on and so forth. I got cards from all of them. I got a Firekeeper's card, everything. We love casinos in Wisconsin, and you're right about this. We tax the shit out of them because they bring in so much money. We'll maybe not tax the shit out of them, but we make a shit ton off taxing them, and we get a lot of money for the state because of that. And I have to agree with you on that, and I have to agree with you on this. Wisconsin is ass backwards in their weed laws, and if we were to legalize weed, because every single state that borders us has a form of legal weed. Minnesota, Michigan again over here, and Illinois. There might be Indiana or something. I think they might have weed laws that are good or bad. I don't know, but everyone is going out of state to buy weed and give their tax dollars to Illinois or Michigan. We could have that money. There's even some politician, I forgot which position they're in, that went to an Illinois weed factory, a Wisconsin politician, not a weed factory, dispensary, and they said, they had a press conference of like, we should legalize this weed because there are people coming right from down that road across the border and spending their money at this dispensary and giving their tax dollars to them instead of us. And we could make so much money on taxes for that and fix our crappy roads. Yeah,
you were absolutely correct. And I think that that's something that we need to do. We need to start also bringing in big businesses. I mean, Samsung is going to pay a lot in taxes. I mean, eventually, I think we gave them some tax breaks. I don't know the exact details of that. But eventually, they're going to be bringing in a lot of taxes. And I think that, these industries can alleviate the taxes of the common person. Right now, we have a sales tax, and that's great. But we also have property taxes. And I think that eventually we could just get rid of that and live off of the taxes that come from the casinos, come from the legalization of marijuana, come from the bigger corporations that come in and, pay their fair share and, their simple sales tax. The thing is like when you, like I own a business in the state of Texas, okay? I pay the Texas sales tax. So if you go to the store and you buy something for $1, you pay $1.07, not 7 cents of sales tax. Well, the business pays the same exact price.
You said 7% sales tax?
It's a 8.25% sales tax, so you pay about 8 cents to the dollar.
All right.
So
5.1% here, by the way.
Do y'all have an income tax though?
Yeah.
We don't have an income tax.
Oh, so there you go. I wish I didn't have an income tax. Shit.
Yeah, when we get our paycheck, it takes it. It's the federal government.
We get so cucked on our fucking on our income tax here.
And that's the problem with the left. They think that you can tax the nation into prosperity, and that's not how it works. You cannot tax a nation into prosperity. You cannot tax people into prosperity. We have got to stop taxing the common person to the most extreme. I mean, not only are you paying federal taxes, you're paying an income tax, you're paying a sales tax. I mean, Jesus, dude, what tax aren't you paying?
It's like the tax man. They tax the bench I sit on, the air that I'm breathing, and the ground that I'm walking on.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. You can literally tax a man to death. And it's just something that in the state of Texas we don't agree with and we refuse to be a part of.
You brought up Elon Musk before, and someone brought up the fact that they are building, in my chat, they're building chip factories. He said, I think it's Ford, of all companies, that's about to open a chip foundry in Texas, them and Tesla or something, and you brought up Elon Musk. So, first of all, I didn't really know too much about how Texas is super open to these gigantic businesses coming and bringing really good jobs with high stakes, like building chips, which is like huge right now. Right. That's really cool. So proud on you guys for that. And I kind of thought I knew about income tax. I know Florida has no income tax, but I knew that there must have been a reason all these people are going to Austin, like Joe Rogan and all these other people famous people that are based in Los Angeles going straight to Austin. But I want to talk a little about Elon Musk. How do you feel about Elon Musk, first of all? What's your opinion on him? Good, bad? This guy divides people.
I'm not entirely sure what to make of the guy. Look, I don't dislike somebody because they're rich. Okay, let's throw that out there. Okay, I don't dislike Bill Gates because he's rich. I dislike Bill Gates because he's scumbag. All right, that's why I dislike Bill Gates. Not because he's rich, because there are rich people who are good people who actually genuinely give a shit about the American people and about America. What I think about Elon Musk is, so far what I can gather from him is that he's a pretty based individual. He's a very intelligent man, and people generally don't like him because they're jealous of him. I mean, I found out the other day that Elon Musk had Asperger's syndrome. I had no idea. More power to him. And he is a genius, whether we want to acknowledge that or not. I mean, he did do things that other people didn't do. I mean, he wasn't the founder of Tesla. He actually purchased the name Tesla. I mean, he wasn't the sole inventor of the Tesla automobile. But I remember for a long time when I was a kid, my grandparents and my parents, there's no way they're going to make an electric vehicle. It just doesn't work. And he did it. He was a part of that process that did it. It's an actual electric vehicle that works. But going back to it, I don't have any resentment for Elon Musk. And as a matter of fact, I think he's pretty based. And I love that he is willing to, stick up for himself and talk some shit to the left, like Senator Karen Warren.
Well, Elon Musk's story coincides perfectly well with what you're saying earlier. Do you remember earlier you brought up how the extreme leftists say there's no way you said the rich get richer, the poor get poorer. You said that's not true. You can start from nothing and basically make it on your own in America.
Absolutely.
Do you know how Elon Musk originally got rich?
I'm pretty sure he was one of the co-founders of PayPal.
Him and his brother invented PayPal.
Yeah.
And then they sold it for probably billions or something.
Yeah. So I know that he is self-made. And not only that, he's an immigrant. He's from South Africa.
So I was just gonna bring that up. He's the most successful African American in the world. Did you know that?
I mean, I guess I knew that, but I never thought of it that way. But yeah.
He is. He's from South Africa. He is an American citizen, and he works to improve America. That's why his jobs are here. That's why his company's here. He realizes it's the greatest country in the world.
Yeah, I mean, look, America is the greatest country because of opportunity. Okay, because of the ability to have opportunity. Now, the thing is like I get where the left come from. That not everybody has the opportunities that everybody else has. Look, as
anyone could have made PayPal.
But I think that we, as a conservative, we should all start at the same starting line. Where we finish is up to us. Okay, Bill Gates said it best, and again, I know Bill Gates is a scumbag. I don't like the man, but he that doesn't mean that he doesn't have words of wisdom. He said that if you're born poor, it's not your fault, but if you die poor, it's your fault. Because you can go to work every day, grind 2 jobs, and I know that sucks. But people do. You can go to school. If you want your school paid for, join the military. Okay, stop saying, I took out loans and now I can't pay them back. Federal government, come in and save me. No, you took out a loan, pay it back. If you can't pay it back, join the Army. I know in the Texas Army National Guard, I think right now we're offering like $50,000 payback on college debt. If you really want to go to college, you can go to college in this country. But I think some of my words of wisdom to people going to college, don't go to college to get some stupid-ass degree. Get a degree that is going to end up making you money.
The only degrees that you should really even pay for in college nowadays are STEM degrees. Everything else is just a ripoff.
Yeah, I completely agree. I knew people who were working at Starbucks who had, English literature degrees. And it's like, you paid $100,000 for that? And you're working at Starbucks.
You might as well have a high school degree.
Yeah, I mean, I had a high school diploma making the same as someone with a bachelor's. And does it mean that having a bachelor's degree is worthless? No, it's not worthless. But when everybody goes and gets the same degree, it's supply and demand. Okay, when everybody's got the same thing, it becomes worthless. Could you imagine if everybody had a 10-ounce bar of gold? It would be worthless.
Well, a lot of people say America is capitalism. It's true, we are a capitalist country, but technically we're a democratic republic.
We are a constitutional republic. Now, capitalism is not a form of government. Capitalism is an economic system. We are a free economic system. We are a free market economic system. We are a capitalistic system, which gives me the ability to operate my own small business without the government, choking me out, competition just choking me out to no end. That's what capitalism allows. That's what the free market allows. Um, and people need to understand that capitalism and free market are not a form of government. It's just an economic system.
Yeah, people don't understand that.
They don't understand that. But socialism and communism are an economic system and a form of government. And, we are a constitutional republic. We are not a democracy. Okay? If we were a democracy, popular vote would determine the president. And we'd be able to vote for people, like for me, for example, I live in San Antonio. AOC and Ilhan Omar and Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer and Adam Schiff, they do not represent me. They represent their constituents in their district. People in my district represent me, like Jose Menendez, Ted Cruz. Those are people who represent me, who I get to vote. And I get to vote for them, and it is the popular vote that determines whether or not they win.
Yeah, the electoral college you bring up. Well, I'm going to say we've been going for about an hour. Tell the people more about your election. What, just tell them about when they can vote for you if they live in Texas and they see this in your area. Tell them more about your final words on what you want the people to know.
So I am in District 26. That is the heart of San Antonio. I had no other Republican run against me. So I'm the first Republican to run in this district that I know of since before 2015. So I already have the Republican nomination. So if you do live in my district, you can vote for me starting February 15th. Early voting. The primary is March 1st. You can vote for me. But again, because I'm the Republican, if I get one vote, I win. But the actual election is the midterm election on November 8th, 2022. And that'll be the election that determines who is the senator for District 26. Now, again, I am not a millionaire. I can't, I've already thrown in thousands of dollars to this. I can't, throw in thousands more because I just don't have it. But what you can do is you can go to my website here. I'll link it down to you too. Let's see if that's my Facebook there. Let me see. I'll go to my Facebook page here. My campaign page right here. I'll link it to you here. That is my website. And we're going to be updating that soon. So right now, what we could really use is donations to the campaign. It's donations, and we can, because we're in the state of Texas, we can get donations from anywhere in America, which is nice because I'm not governed by the federal law. I'm governed by the state law. So right now, we need donations so that we can go out and deliver flyers. So we go out and door knock. So we can go out, do the grassroots movement, and go out and win. It does. It takes money, and I hate to say that because I wish it wasn't that way, but it is that way. Paying for yard signs, paying for business cards, paying for all of that costs money, and we could help in using that to help find how am I trying to say this? So that we can go out there and we can get our name out there and say we are a conservative libertarian who wants to help our constituents, who wants to help the people in my district and the people of the state of Texas. So that's what it helps. And again, this money that you donate to the campaign, it doesn't go to me. Like, I don't get to use it to pay my bills. I'm sure some people do, but it's illegal. It's not supposed to happen. So again, that's one of the biggest things is donations. That helps a lot. Going to the website, subscribing for new information. And sometime, I do believe in the beginning of January, I'm supposed to meet with Governor Greg Abbott. And I'm looking for an endorsement. That would help us drastically. So everybody on Shiz's chat and on my chat, feel free to subscribe, donate, email me personally. I've got my phone number on there too. I'm a grassroots guy. And yeah, I think that's about all I got to say about that. But I appreciate everybody.
Good luck to you, and we're gonna link your website in the chat. I believe Mega already did. She's on top of it.
Thank you, Mega Princess. I appreciate that. She's been amazing.
Yeah, she's
For
the
me.
best. She's the best.
Yeah, she's been amazing for me, especially in the Twitch community, for sure.
Yeah, same for me, man. So I gotta say, thank you for this episode of the SHIZCAST, dude. We're gonna post this on YouTube, which I'll send you the link later. Okay. So you can, if you want to spread it to your, Twitch chat, that you can.
Okay.
But, thank you very much, man, and maybe we'll get together after your state senator.
I hope so. That's the goal. But I appreciate it, Chase. You have a wonderful day.
All right, take it easy, buddy.
You too. Bye.